Oh. As you're well aware of, flying indoors really causes a lot of problems in damaging your heli. What I think we'll cover today is some of the major points that'll make your heli end up flying poorly, vibration, shaking, all sorts of things can cause those problems. One of the first things that can be looked at when your heli first starts flying poorly is the main gear down here may have moved down, and it'll fly. You'll notice it really quickly. Here you can see my shaft. You see the little black right below. That means it's pretty good and snug when that shaft is sticking out down there. One of the ways that you can test this is you can see the collar moves up and down, and that right there is a pretty good fit. But to fix that, if the gear's off and there's a lot of slop in there, you're really going to fly poorly. So I just use a little wire connector, and we'll just come back out, and I just push good and hard like this, and it snugs that gear up really well and really easily. That will cure a lot of ail, so check that quite often on hard crashes. That comes loose and it moves down, and you'll have a lot better flights if you keep that snugged up. Now, another thing that happens quite often when you crash is your push rods will get bent, and that one is really quite bent. That really ends up messing up your pitch and how it flies, period. So to fix that, just to show you the difference between, or how bent up this has gotten. So to fix that, I'll just come in here, take a pair of needle nose, and just try to square it up some. Make that nice and even. And we'll get it back squared up relatively well and put it back on. Now that is will really help out and is really important to do, especially before you try to level your swash plate and set the pitch. Okay, another quick tip. I had seen this on the web, and I really didn't think it was going to be all that necessary to do. I didn't think it would change much. But I was having a problem with the heli flying it, and it would have a pretty violent shake. And I had already taken care of cleaned all three of my servos and adjusted the swash plate and pitch correctly. And I was still getting this very kind of violent shaking at certain points during flying and hovering. So on the web, what I came across was put one of these grommets that come with for your canopy. You probably got some extra ones with your purchase, and just put those on the swash plate, and that will dampen and tighten up the actual push rods and make it surprisingly, and I say very surprisingly because I had some pretty violent shakes. I put these pieces on and it completely eliminated this vibration. So I was really surprised that the grommets actually fixed the problem, but they did. Now on mine, since I have the microHELLi swash plate upgrade on there, it is a little tighter system and could not handle, let's see if I can get focus, could not handle a complete grommet in there. It was a lot thinner in there. So all I did was took the original grommet and just took a pair of scissors and cut it in half for this particular one. So you'll have to decide on your swash plate if it can handle a whole one or if you need to cut it in half. That really took care of the vibration, and I had been really puzzled of why that was happening, even though my servos were all clean and they were not the issue. Alright, got the servo push rods squared up nicely and back to almost new there. They will break occasionally, so be sure to have some spares. Now the other thing that causes vibrations quite a bit is the servo motor themselves will get dirty, and there's 3 of them and they're all the same. This is one that I've removed, but the servo ends up getting, as this moves up and down, it ends up getting quite dirty in there. And it's really simple to clean. It's kind of a hassle, but it's still simple. You unscrew usually 3 screws off the frame, and I can usually leave this hooked up and actually do the cleaning. Now the screws on the back here are super small, so you'll need your smallest screwdriver, and my regular screwdriver just doesn't quite get it. There's 4 of them. Make sure that you touch the metal and discharge your static electricity out of your hands before you handle any of the circuit boards, kind of like your computer when you're handling those circuit boards. Okay, so when we open this up, now this one is super clean, and the reason it's super clean is I'd cleaned it a while back, but basically it's these surfaces right here that get dirty, and quite dirty. It'll be, this side will almost be as black as that strip on that side, and then your little contact points here. So what I'll do is get some alcohol swabs, or you can use a Q-tip with alcohol and dip it in it, but I'll tear that open and I'll just take and I'll just clear all the dirt and crud off there. I'll wipe the contact too, now only in a downward motion, because if you go back and forth you can actually hook the little contacts and bend them up. Now if they do bend up, it's probably not a super big deal, just kind of bend them down a little, but make sure that they are out and will make contact. If you bend them in, that's probably a worse scenario. So cleaning that board happens, I probably have to clean them about once every 2 or 3 weeks. Now I fly kind of daily, but they'll cause a lot of jitter in there, and you'll get a lot of vibration and shaking going on, and you can usually tell because it's going, your push rod's going up and down, or acting weird. So clean that up, and that should eliminate one of the vibration problems.